Season over, but I'm still in need of closure. Only gonna social, will you stand tall or will you fall short like Zola and bottle it like cola la la? Cause I seen that you did it before and my heart can't take it and it can't take anymore, so you better come ready for war. Woo! Season over, but I'm still in need of closure. Only gonna social, will you stand tall or will you fall short like Zola and bottle it like cola la la? Cause I seen that you did it before and my heart can't take it and it can't take anymore, so you better come ready for war. Woo! So this is the OT99 Banter Room where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. We're back again with another one. I'm joined today by a special guest, NK. He's not even a guest anymore. He's like a regular. And my man Crep. Look, we're here to discuss the matter at hand, which is Manchester United versus Wolves, the result of that, and also the end games. Manchester United versus Villarreal. Look, this is the Europa League final. This is what a lot of Manchester United fans are going to determine the success of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's season on this final game right here. So, do you know what? Let's get into that actually. First of all, look, Ole, the season's done. Premier League season's done. We can, the verdict was out all season. People just like, I don't know. Let's see where he finishes at the end of the season, blah, 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 before they give their verdict. Look, the season's done now. The Premier League's over. First question, has Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made progress with this Manchester United squad, or are you still unconvinced? Crep, give me your feedback. You cut out a bit there, Crep.
The season's been. I think he's. Hello.
You're cracking up a little bit. Okay. Go on.
Yeah, can you hear me? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I was saying about the season's been a little bit bittersweet. He's made clear progress in the league. Moving up from third position to second, which is good. And obviously our away form has been fantastic. Our home form has been not so good. But obviously getting knocked out of the Champions League at the group stage, I mean, that can't go. That's he underachieved there. I'm sorry. I know we're in the Europa League final and we're favourites to win it, but we shouldn't have been in that competition in the first place, to be honest. So he underperformed in various cup games and obviously in European games. But overall, I think progress.
I hear you're saying. I mean, I was on WhatsApp in one of my groups chatting about the same thing. I was just like, look, because I was arguing about Brendan Rodgers and whether he's a bottler or he's not a bottler. And then obviously I was talking about Europa League, like we're in it, but we technically shouldn't have been there. I was technically saying, it's not technically, it happened. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we got kicked out of the group stages. We should have still been in that tournament. Maybe get into some sort of quarters, semis of the Champions League based on the sort of squad levels we have realistically. But then again, you think about it, Chelsea's in a final, so that raises up other questions. Could we have got even further? I don't know. But I was talking about that as well. I was thinking, we should have even have been here. So that raises the question with Ole as well, But again, he's making the best out of a bad situation. If you're gonna get knocked out of Champions League, you better get to the final and you better win it. In my point of view, you know what I mean? You can only tackle what's in front of you at the end of the day. NK, what are you saying? What's your thoughts on it though? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, has he made progression based on last season? Not about what you want, just based on last season. Just give me a verdict.
You know what? To be honest with you, I feel like he's made progression because let's face it, he wasn't backed in the summertime. He did not get none of his target because he wanted Sancho. Didn't get Sancho. I don't even think he only get Van der Beek, which I don't know whether it was his signing or not. So in terms of the squad, nothing really kind of like got added to it. And we were comfortably in the top four, which if you told us, hey, Man United, we're going to be second place, we would take it. We were not part of like the whole like dogfight and everything. So that was a big kind of like relief for us as a fan. But it was frustrating because once we kind of like go into the title charge, we didn't really kind of like kick on from that. It was like we were more kind of like relaxed from there. the Champions League B, that's a tricky one. I mean, he should have literally gone past the group stage. I mean, we were 9 points up, and for us to kind of like collapse like that, that was very like bad. But saying all of that, if he goes on and then he win the Europa League, then that's something, because I feel like if he was in the Champions League, then we would have gone another season without a trophy, and then he's gonna start kind of like creeping. That would have been like 4 years without a trophy, and that is off his bat. So in terms of like not spending that much money in the summertime and finishing like this position, I feel like he made a progression. Yeah.
You know what? That I would say personally that he has progressed, because at the end of the day, if you strip it down to the bare facts, we finished we finished third last season, came back, sort of grinded to get that third position. Then we kind of hobbled over the line, but we still got third. Now we're second at the moment. We finished second, sorry, and that's progression on paper. We've probably got more points, I think, than last season, and we're second at the minute, and we're in the final. So I would say it's progression, even if we didn't win the Europa League final. It's still progression. It's just not the progression that Manchester United fans will probably want to see, right? But if you're stripping it down to the bare minimum, finishing third with no trophies, finishing second with no trophies, it's still progression, right?
Nah, that's still the same standard. Look, I'm telling you, if he don't win the cup on Wednesday, I'll be calling for Ole to get sacked.
If you called it for Ole's head, all right. You know what? Let's move on, right? So this season was mad. So obviously we saw Liverpool, half their squad get injured, long-term injuries for some. We've seen Lampard with Chelsea. They bought a whole squad, top stars. They didn't quite gel, or maybe under Lampard they didn't quite gel. And obviously they had their up and down sort of season as well. Then City as well, they stumbled as well over the line here and there, but then they picked up form like pretty soon after. So it was a funny season. It was a very funny season, and we saw Leicester again, like maintain top 4 position for, quite frankly, 3/4 or more of the season, and then fell like they did last season. But what I would like to say is this, and put a spanner in the works, is Manchester United finished second, and we were quite comfortable. Now, if Chelsea had your Thomas Tuchels from early, if Liverpool didn't have all of those injuries, do you still think that we'll be sitting pretty at second, or do you feel like we'll be struggling to qualify for Champions League spot? That question's out to anyone of you.
That's a good question, man. Do you know what? It's a difficult one to answer, to be honest. We started off poor, if you remember. We got absolutely hammered by Spurs in the beginning of the season. We lost to Crystal Palace. We had a very poor start. And obviously, if Liverpool, had a strong season like they did last season, and Chelsea sort of gelled, then, we could have been a lot, way behind by the time we got to the sort of midpoint of the season. It's a difficult one because you never really know. I think we probably could have made the top 4, but I think it would have been a real dogfight, for 4th or 3rd, like last season. To be honest, I don't think we probably wouldn't finish second. I can't imagine us, being comfortable in second as well. So we could have, but it would have been a battle, I think.
What do you think, NK?
Yeah, that's true though. If Liverpool had all their injuries, like if they didn't have their injury problem, I feel like they could have probably even win the league. To be honest with you, they could have won the league because if you look at the table right now, Aston and we came second, but with Man City kind of like standard 86 points to win the league title, that's even below them. And next season they will want to be kicked on because right now everybody's going to think, oh, we need to close the gap from 12 points gap. But next season they're not going to win it. If they're going to win it, or whoever is going to win it, either them or Liverpool, it's not going to be 86. It's going to be like that 90 something that they won it with, So I don't know. If none of them had their injury with Chelsea too, I don't know. I feel like maybe we could have still finished on top of Chelsea. But Liverpool, I'm not so sure about that personally.
Do you know when Liverpool's? I think I saw some stat of their last recent games, maybe like the last 10 or something. Liverpool was topping the charts. I think that's
won 8 games. They've won their last 8 games. They've won their last 8.
They've won their last 8. And I do feel like slightly it might be skewed because obviously since City won the league, you saw those dropping of points start happening. But before that, they were sort of cleaning up house. So I feel like they may have taken their foot off the gas a little bit. Manchester United as well. I think once we had that healthy gap, you know, you saw us with Leicester, we rotated the whole squad or whatever like that.
Mate, we were playing our strongest. we never took, apart from that Leicester game, after we were doing our best. So no, this is the best we could have done this season. I feel like this is the best we could have done this season, honestly.
But remember, Liverpool were out of all the cup competitions by that point. So they didn't really have to rotate their squad. They were only playing one game a week as well, whereas Chelsea, Man City, they still have cup games, Champions League. We was obviously in Europa. I think we were still in the FA Cup as well. So
yeah.
They had an advantage towards the end of the season, to be honest.
Cool. So let's talk about, since we're on the topic of rotating squads, Manchester United fielded a heavily rotated squad against Wolves. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't watch the game. I caught the highlights because my schedule was a bit packed. But I saw the highlights and I saw guys like Elanga. I saw guys like Amad Diallo doing his thing. So Dan James back from his injury. You know, Donny van der Beek, Matic in the middle and everything like that, and Twanzebe and all of that. Look, for me, I was thinking, you know, Oli did the right thing in rotating the squad. Obviously, he's got one eye on the final, which is a few days away. He doesn't want to risk injuries. But then a piece of me was thinking, is that how our players work? In terms of, like, do we want to, you know, like Rooney had to play games to keep him fine-tuned, to keep him, like, ready. Are our players like that? Do we need to, I mean, are we okay to rest them and then play them in a big final like this and expect them all to be, you know, hit the ground running? Or do we actually need to be warming up some of these guys and keep them ticking, even if it is for like 30 minutes or whatever it is like that?
I think the rest was needed, to be honest, because I think our last game was, I think Fulham. I'm not quite sure if it was on a Thursday. I think it was Thursday our last game was, either Thursday or Tuesday, I'm not sure. So I think the rest was needed, to be honest with you. We needed that rest because a lot of the guys have played a lot of games. Like Rashford shouldn't have played anyways. I don't know what he was doing in the squad because Bruno, Cavani, none of them was there, you know. So in terms of the squad rotation, yeah, it was good. I mean, I saw Villarreal, they didn't rest no players. They played their strongest squad against Real Madrid, but then they play on a Saturday, whereas we would have played on a Sunday. So we would have had like a 1 day less, you know. So it would be good to keep them fresh, to be honest with you. And I don't think none of these players, maybe I would have liked to see Martial, because I know he's back from injury. I would have liked to kind of like see him kind of like get a few minutes, because I feel like he might make kind of like a big impact coming from the bench, depending on how the game goes.
Yeah, right. What do you think, Crep? You agree with that whole rotation policy?
I agree. Obviously, we had a game in the week, so it made sense. If we played our strong team, that would have been only. Yeah, I don't know what he would be thinking to be doing that, to be honest. Yeah, we need to rest the guys. If we got injured, if someone got injured, then people would have been after his head. His head would have been on a chopping block. So yeah, the guys, man, come on.
You know what? Right, I didn't watch the game, like I said, but you know what? In those highlights, I saw Dan James, right? So one of the highlights was Dan James. Now, Dan James got a nice slip. I think it was Amadiello that slipped in the ball for him. Like it was a smooth, well-timed. And you know what? The thing about Amadiello, yeah, is he's a guy that we bought for like the total package around 40 million. He's played a handful of games this season where we probably needed him, because that right-hand side has always had a question mark on it, you know, with Rashford playing out on the right and not quite, you know, being up to speed with that side. Then obviously Greenwood being tutored as a centre forward rather than a right winger, even though he's doing well on the right. Diallo, I thought there was more opportunity for him to shine and play and get minutes under his belt. He got minutes today. I mean, he got minutes against Wolves, and I heard he gave a really good account of himself. And he was one of the guys that set up Dan James, and Dan James just did what he did. But what was your account? Who was your man of the match in that game anyway against Wolves? What was your assessment of Amadiello as well?
Diallo played as a false 9 in that game. He didn't play on the wing, so he played as a false 9. He played well against obviously a decent Wolves defense. Obviously, they're very physical defense. He played well. His movement's good. His touch is good. His passing. You can tell he's a baller. Do you get what I'm saying? You can tell he knows how to play football. You can tell he's got a lot of potential. He played well. Like you said, he put a good pass into Dan James. I don't even Dan James. that miss. Sorry, I got Dan James. Yeah, he's got. We can't. Listen, I'm going off on a tangent, but I gotta say this: we can't continue with these guys. Dan James to be sold in the summer. He's pointless. We might as well have. If we're gonna have someone on the bench, it's got to be Diallo and Elanga. They're better quality. They can play football. They can pass. They got better vision. They can dribble better. Just because he can run, he needs to go to like a Everton or a Southampton or a Swansea or not Swansea. What's it? Leeds. That sort of thing. That's his level. He's not top 6 quality.
Would you say would you loan him or would you?
Dan James.
Say or sell him?
Sell him. There's no potential there. Sell him. Sell him. All he done. Sonic the Hedgehog. All he can do is run. That's all he can do. Oh, I'm sick and tired of these average ballers in our squad. We need top quality guys that can make good decisions, good passes, good dribbling. We need top quality players in our squad. And even it doesn't make sense because we got to give these youths a chance. And these our bench is just occupied by just either past it players, you know what I'm saying, that are old and they've got the ability normal, or average ballers. We need to give the youth a chance, and the only way to do that is to clear out the squad.
No, I hear you on that one. I hear you because our bench guys hardly even get games anyway. I mean, you'll probably have 2 guys that come off the bench that get that regular game time. Other than that, everyone else is just filling up spots on the bench that don't ever get used. And I feel like, I mean, I read something today saying how Ollie's gonna try to incorporate Ilanga. I think it was Shoretire and some of the other sort of youngsters. Hannibal Medbury into the first team, like play them around the first team lineup a bit more. So hopefully, unless they get serious good loans, whatever it is, so hopefully we start to see a bit more of that and then phase out some of the old guards. Like Matters, Matters doing well, can still ball, clearly can still ball. But he's on big wages and he doesn't really get utilized. So we might as well fill it up with someone that's on 1/10 of his wage, that's got all the potential in the world to grow and learn and develop into something great. NK, oh, you didn't tell me your man of the match. Who was your man of the match, Crep?
I think Van der Beek played well. He gave a good account of himself. Diallo played well. Ilanga. To be honest, I don't really have a clear man of the match, but if I'm going to give one, I'll probably give it to Van der Beek.
Van der Beek, yeah. NK.
Yeah. Or Diallo.
Yeah. I would say, there was no really like standout performance, to be honest. It was kind of like an average girl for most of them to really like get minutes. But yeah, Van der Beek, I say I'll probably give him man of the match because he was very good too. We know those kind of like defensive midfielder, we've been kind of like crying there. Where I saw him in the game was he kept on always calling for the ball. When the defense had a ball, he would go just like give me the ball. He didn't really care who was next to him. He's like, because he trusts that he got like good control and he can pass it. So he was always asking for the ball, which the defense are not used to because they don't trust like Fred and McTominay. So they always kind of like go like sideways. But yeah, Daniel James and Williams, they need to go. Like those two, they need to go. And I don't even think they can even be good like in a Premiership, maybe the Championship. That chance that James wasted, because he had a cross, when he had a cross for the goal, and I'm sure Oli probably think like I could probably start him on the right hand side to help on Wednesday, and then he get that 1-on-1 position, like he had time to think about it because the pass was just perfect. He had time to think about it, like whether he want to go left, right. And I don't know what he tried to do. He used outside of his boot to try like held the ball. You would not even see Messi even try that.
Was that the problem though? Was that the problem that he had too much time though for a guy that's not?
No, it wasn't because you know what? His first goal that he scored against Chelsea too, he had the same problem too. Like when he get the ball, he don't know. He's naturally, I feel like he's one of those players that maybe you can probably like turn him into like a good like right back. But attacking wise, if he's part of the attacking play, he just wastes over there. Because you want a chance to fall into any of the attacking players, and when a chance like that fall into them, you expect them to score. And if he's gonna be in there and he's missing chances like that, mate, he needs to go. He needs to go because I tell you what, if that chance fall into any of that, those like 3 players that was on there except for him, they will bury that chance. Any of those guys would have buried their chance except for him. So yeah, he needs to go. And Berlin Williams too, he was bad. You know, I was saying, you know what, Maguire is injured. I was saying if Wan-Bissaka was the one who was injured, mate, we would have been sweating. Because at least, you know, with Maguire, you know, like Lindelof, Bailly is there, Tuanzebe is there. I mean, they're not the best, but they would do better job. But if we was Wan-Bissaka and then Williams was going to play that right back, that final would have been a wrap already.
I've always said it. I feel like our fullbacks is something that we sleep on, and right back especially. I feel like Wan-Bissaka has been so present that we haven't even thought that we need cover there at times. We just sort of think like our priorities is, you know, like a right winger, striker, wherever it's been, a DM, centre back, because Wan-Bissaka has been so present. But in actual fact, if he gets injured, we've seen what happens when, you know, we bring on Tellez and Wan-Bissaka, for example. It's just a mess. Crosses come into our box like at will. We concede at will. It's not a good look. So I feel like we are going to get some cover, whether it be Kieran Trippier, who I think is probably going to end up at Man United next season. You know, we'll see what happens, but I do think like we need cover. Do you know what? On Donny van de Beek, we touched on it before. So Donny van de Beek hasn't been getting much game time. I feel like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has now been able to play this guy risk-free. Was it enough yesterday from what you saw to say, do you know what, Donny van de Beek could probably work in the starting lineup if we give him minutes, give him time? Or do you feel like as a double pivot, in the double pivot role, or do you feel like Donny van de Beek ain't fitting our style of player? Maybe we need to move him on and raise up some cash.
No, I think Van de Beek can definitely play. Well, I think he needs a chance. He needs a chance to play as a number 6, as a deep player, sort of deep playmaker, sort of as a Michael Carrick role, or like a box-to-box player.
Yeah,
he's miles ahead of Fred and McTominay. He's just better. He just has more ability.
fair.
He has more ability. He can pass. He's got a better touch. I don't really see him as a number 10. Because I don't think he's on the level as same level as Bruno Fernandes, and he's not going to dislodge him. So I think he can easily play in that number 6 or number 8, sort of that 2 position, alongside either. I think if we are going to play him there, though, I do think we should get another sort of solid DM, or if not, McTominay. He plays alongside McTominay, for example, but he's better than McTominay and Fred. So. I think he should get a shot next season in the position personally.
But that'll be dependent on us getting a certified DM, or would you?
No, regardless. Even if we don't get, and you know, Fred or McTominay, one of them has to be dropped out. I'm sorry. I'm sick and tired of seeing them two in the midfield.
So you'll play Donny next to Pogba potentially.
I'll play. I don't know about that. I think we do need someone a little bit more disciplined. So I may play him with McTominay, for example.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I think we do need someone a little bit more disciplined with Pogba in that two pivot, because otherwise both of them are going to try and get forward too much. No one's going. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really work. But I think he could be one of the players, you know. He definitely needs more game time than he did. Only took the piss with him this season. Let's be real. He had no. He needs a run of games. We need to actually see what he can do as well, and that's the thing about it. We need to see.
Yeah.
From what I've seen so far in that position, he's played okay. He's played well. He deserves more game time, and he deserves a chance. And I feel he can dictate that midfield and control the midfield a lot better than Fred and McTominay. Especially Fred. Fred's on-the-ball ability is terrible. I'm sorry. At this level, it's just not good enough. We're not winning the league with these two in the midfield. We're not.
No, I heard that.
Yeah, that's true though, to be honest. That's true, because yesterday he had a decent game. He was even the one who got the penalty for us, you know? He was the one who got the penalty for us too. But yeah, Crepy is right. Like with him and Pogba, it's not gonna work. You know, it's not gonna work because you always need one person to kind of discipline. You know, when you play FIFA and then one of your holding midfield, you just do like sit back. You do sit back. You know, that's the kind of thing. He needs someone like that. Him and Pogba will not go because both of them like to kind of like go a bit forward, you know. And that's what sometimes, even with Pogba and McTominay too, you always have the same problem too, because McTominay always kind of like want to go forward too sometimes too. But I don't know, in order for him to kind of like get a run of like form, Fred or McTominay, one of them needs to be injured in order for Ole to kind of like give him that kind of like chance for him up. Because I guarantee you, if he play like 4 games on a row, he will make that spot his own. He played 3 or 4 games on his own. There's no way Ole choose like Fred over him, definitely.
And that's the thing. Like, I know we've got the Euros coming up in about a couple of weeks. Everyone's gonna go into that. After the Euros, there's not really that much time for like a good lengthy pre-season where we can see what Donny's about, because Donny's a key. Donny, right, is going to be a key person, I feel, for us going forward. If we can utilize him well, I feel like he'll be a key person for us. But we need to see what he's about. Like Crep said, we ain't got much time to do it. And every game in the Premier League now is precious. I mean, this season would have been a good time to maybe try them a little bit, because teams are dropping points, teams are vulnerable. And even if we just qualified, in top 4, that would have been good enough. And I thought we still could have dropped a few points and still been in a position where we're in a final potentially. But going into next season, are we even going to have the opportunity to test? Is Ollie going to be brave enough to say, you know what, Scott McTominay, Fred, the trial and trusted, drop out, Donny van der Beek, you step in for one of them or whatever? Is he going to do that? Because he doesn't seem to be able. He doesn't seem to switch.
Listen, I don't trust Oli. I'm going to be honest. I don't think he's not. One thing about Oli, he's not brave. I'm gonna not brave. He sticks to what he thinks works, and I think he thinks McTominay and Fred works. If he gets another DM, maybe he'll break up that pairing. But I think he needs to be braver in order to bridge the gap. Yeah. So what I would do if I was Oli, I'll sell Fred, and I'll bring in another DM, and I'll play the DM. I don't know what the situation with Pogba is. If Pogba stays, I'll play the DM with Pogba, or I'll rotate with Van der Beek, and then I'll bring James Gardner back in and let's see what he can do, because obviously he's had a great loan spell at Nottingham Forest. See what he can do. Put him on the bench. Put McTominay on the bench, because I think McTominay has got potential to be a little bit better than what he is. You know what I'm saying? He's still quite young. And I think he's got more potential than Fred. I think Fred is at his limit. Like he's at his ceiling. He can't get any better. Yeah, I don't think he can get any better. So I would move Fred on, because I don't think we're going to progress with Fred. And he has to start giving guys a chance.
Yeah.
To show what they can do if they're good enough at that level. There's no point having them on the bench and then bringing them on for 5-10 minutes. He has to be braver with his substitutions and his squad rotation. Because if you look at Man City, the reason they won is because they pretty much got 2 first-team squads that they can count on. Whereas we've got 1, and then we've got bringing on guys sporadically here and there and expecting them to pick up form. That's not how football works.
No, I agree. I agree totally. And I feel like with Fred and McTominay, it's sort of like obviously Scott McTominay's homebred. He's one of those guys that's not going anywhere. So the decision, if it had to be out of Fred and McTominay, would easily be Fred without even thinking. Because I feel like, we're kind of loyal to our homegrowns. But secondly, I feel like Scott McTominay and Fred do just about enough to say, do you know what? Give us a bit of it gives us a bit of headache. They do just about enough for us to be like, let's not bench them in certain games. And this is why, because if you're looking at what we've got on a bench versus what we've got there in the big games, they're doing enough. I mean, we're in a Europa League final, right? They've had a big part to play in it. I just feel like they just do enough. Like, say if you're rating them out of a 10, right? These guys are they're consistently performing at maybe like 5.8 or something like that.
Let's do this. Then they are not the reason why we're second and in the Europa League final. It's because of our attacks. It's because of Cavani, Bruno Fernandes, Greenwood. These guys don't. What do they meant to protect the back four, but even that, they're not even great at doing that. They're not great at assisting. Check this. I'm not even trying to be that.
They're not.
They offer nothing. They haven't. Listen, I'm focused on Fred specifically because every time I watch him, he's frustrating. His ability on the ball is terrible. You can't get out of tight spaces. that's not the level. Firma, if we want to get back to the top, right, we need better players. We need better players on the ball.
Yeah.
Better, comfortable on them tight spaces.
Yeah.
That can pass lines. That can have, play one-touch football.
Yeah.
I can't say it enough. We can't progress with these two in the midfield. It's limited. It's very limited.
Dax, they gotta go.
Yeah, that's true. Because you know what? In the Premiership, we scored 70 goals and conceded 44 goals. And we are supposed to have 2 defensive midfielders, and yet we are considering like 44 goals. That's just bad.
Yeah.
And the problem is, there's no competition for both of them, with McTominay and Fred, because now Ole kind of like prefer to play Pogba on the left-hand side. So McTominay and Fred, do you feel like they're gonna be what do you call it today, living sleep, whether they're gonna play in the finals or not? They know they start in the finals. Both of them know they start in the finals, And that's what it is. If you go place and you don't have no competition for them, they just relax. But the thing is, we're only to like he's scared, because you know what, the thing is, at the beginning of the season, like he started with like Pogba and Matt. That was like the formation that he started with, those two. After we go beaten by Tottenham, that 6-1, he just saw like, nah, this ain't gonna work for me. So he went back to the safe option, which was like Fred and McTominay, and then we started to kind of like get result. The thing is, when they're there, we get result, but it's not because of what they are actually kind of like doing for the team. But maybe instead of like the balance, maybe it kind of like help. I don't know what it is, what they do in the team that only kind of like trust them more there, but because we still consider goals. And then
we're fourth.
They don't have no assists. Fred has scored like 1 goal the whole season.
I think he's got
he hasn't
one
had
assist,
that many assists.
maybe.
McTominay too had like 1 good game against Leeds United.
But he's got a few goals. He's got a few goals in all, maybe like 7, 8 in all.
But then that's not enough. That's not enough. Like the attacking play. If we are considering 44 goals, then you ask yourself, okay, what are they contributing going forward? And they are not doing that too. Fred never really had an injury, so he's been ever present for the whole season. And as a midfield player, to have like 1 goal and probably, I don't even know how many assists, but I doubt he probably like got more than 5 assists. For that position, that is bad, because you're not protecting the defense. So what are you contributing going forward too? And he's not doing that kind of like job.
So United, just to throw the spanner in, we're 4th highest in terms of clean sheets out of all of the Premier League clubs. So it's City with 19, Chelsea with 18, Villa with 15, and then Man United with 13.
Well, I don't know.
And we don't play possession-based football, so I can understand cities and whatever, but we don't play possession-based football, so we're usually getting bombarded a lot of the time as well. So
look how many we're behind anyway. We've had to come back from behind. I think probably the most. We've had to be the most team that's come back from behind with the amount of times we've conceded first. So they don't really offer nothing. And then when we go into trying to get going to get a goal, there is literally 2 less men on the pitch.
Yeah,
they're useless when we're down and their oppositions camping in the box and parking the bus. They're useless to us. Yeah. Honestly, they don't offer anything in that department. So
So to be honest, right, I know United's been linked with your superstar names, the household names like Kane, Haaland, and all of these guys, Sancho's obviously, and it excites a Man United fan, the attackers, you want to see those attacking names. But generally, I feel like if Man United's going to challenge City's, your Liverpool's next season, because I'm sure they'll be back, Chelsea's, United's got to be, recruiting in the key areas like DM, because we talk a lot about DM and we talk a lot about even a centre back as well. So I feel like Manchester United's a huge amount of their resources should actually be going to those positions, because those positions will tell a lot. And I feel like where we're trying to challenge the teams that I just mentioned, I feel like those signings there will help us get much closer than us getting your Sanchos or your Haalands or your Harry Kanes, in my personal opinion. I feel like there's so many, the balance of Manchester United squad is off. And if we spend all of the money on those attacking players, then the balance is still going to remain off without addressing those other areas. But we did say we're going to talk about the Europa League final, and we're going to talk about it. Look, I noticed that Henderson played against Wolves. So that only leads me to believe that David De Gea is going to be playing in the final. Now, in your opinion, do you feel like whoever plays in the final is going to be staying at Manchester United and the other goalkeeper being loaned or sold? Or do you feel that decision is still out there?
Okay.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I feel like Henderson needs to go. Whoever start the final is literally gonna go into the next season as United #1. It's as simple as that. And Henderson too. And with Maguire not playing too, it's much better to have De Gea in there. You know, I don't know. He's play in a final before. He got more experience than Henderson. This is gonna be all new to Henderson. You know, it's gonna be all new to him, and you don't want him to go there. You know how some of the English goalkeepers are. They get too pumped up. And then by the time, they're coming out for unnecessary cross coming out. I don't know, but I don't really trust Henderson, to be honest with you. I feel like De Gea just needs to just stick in there. He kept us in there against Roma, so he deserves to have his place. But yeah, Henderson, if he don't start there, I feel like he's probably going to go because we can't be doing this rotation finesse season. Only just need to have some boss and say, look, you're my #1, and if you can't be #20, you want to go, then you need to go. Simple as that.
I feel like...
No, sorry, guys.
I'm worried about the final. Moving on from the goalkeeper situation, I'm worried about the final because we're up against Unai Emery. I was more confident before. Now we've got the centre back issues and all of that, and our form's not been that great. I'm a bit worried. I would have been more happy if our first team was the ones that got the victory against Wolves, so I can assess their level of performance at the minute. Now I'm kind of uncertain. But I'm worried because Unai Emery's won this trophy a few times now. He's won it like 3 times in a row, or not in a row, but he's won it about 3 or so times. And Manchester United, obviously, we've won it once, and we've got quite an experienced team. I'm kind of worried now that Manchester United isn't going to make it over the line. Crep, what do you think?
I'm not really that worried, to be honest. We should have enough. If we don't win it, then it just shows the level we're at. Let's be realistic. It shows the level we're at. It shows the mentality of the squad. So let's see how they perform. I'm not really too worried. I want us to win a trophy. It's Europa League. It's, am I going to get overly excited by it? To be honest, not really.
You're gassed. You're going to celebrate, don't you?
I'll celebrate. Obviously, I'm going to celebrate because it's a win, innit? And obviously, I don't want... Listen, if we lose, we're going to get roasted by the rival fan. So I'm not... Do you know what I'm saying? I want to win.
Yeah.
But, like I said, it's not going to excite me because there's nothing... we're in the Champions League. I'll take the trophy. Obviously, it was better than nothing. But... no, I'm not too worried about the team. Obviously, the centre-back's the big issue at the moment, and who's going to partner Lindelof, and are they going to perform? But we should have enough. And if we don't have enough, then, man, I don't know. This squad, I don't know who I got for this squad if we lose, seriously.
Well, you heard it from him, you heard it from me, you heard it from NK. This is the OT99 Banter Room where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. We'll be back again for the final wrap-up. Peace.